behalf of Track to Reality, I extend a very warm and a very hearty welcome to all of you. For your precious time, thank you so much for taking our time. Well, Track to Reality is India's first and on the real estate. And today, we've all gathered here for the release of India's first comprehensive handbook. It's a very delightful occasion, and the handbook is called Track to Reality Focus 2020. We have representatives from the real estate sectors, members from the media fraternity, and our friends and organizations who helped Track to Reality in growing to this extent in a very short span of time of just about 1 year. Well, most of you are aware that Honorable Minister for Urban Development, Mr. Kamal Nath, was supposed to be here and grace the occasion, but due to last minute, he sent his regrets. Well, this event is going to be, it's webcast live on the website of Track to Reality, and the webcasting in association with Live Streaming Solutions, our technical partners for Track to Reality TV. Well, friends, without taking any further of your time, to tell you a little more about Track to Reality and about the handbook, may I invite Mr. Sanjay Dwivedi, Editorial Advisor to Track to Reality, for his welcome speech. Come on, let's all applaud for Mr. Sanjay Dwivedi.
Track to Reality as a media venture is basically a consortium of journalists, and hence we just wanted to have an informal gathering, get together on this occasion of release of our first edition of yearly handbook. I take this opportunity to first of all thank the major players of real estate sector for being our knowledge partners in the project. Through their columns and participation in a roundtable discussions on relevant issues. Almost a year back, when we first conceptualized the idea of real estate focused e-newspaper, there were many questions that were put before us. Not only there were question marks over the need and scope of such a venture, but also the timing was a critical issue as the sector was reeling under the whole lot of issues. Today, when I look back, I have reasons to feel proud over the fact that many of such queries were answered, not by us, but by the market itself. The real estate sector has responded quite well to our earnest endeavor, and I look forward to more meaningful dialogue processes in future. 1 year may be a short span of time to establish a news venture, but our growth thus far has been quite steady. We have not just established ourselves as a credible news portal on the sector, but also emerged as a leading feature service catering to some of the leading newspapers as our subscribers. Another milestone that we have only recently reached is that Track to Reality is now a channel partner with the world's leading news portal and search engine Yahoo. So from next week you can find real estate news window on Yahoo, which will be served by Track to Reality. One of the reasons that we have succeeded is the fact that we are not competing with any other clustered media space and are always venturing into niche and unexplored territories. Keeping up this momentum, today I announce the launch of our webcasting real estate channel, tracktoreality.tv. We are launching it in the first quarter of next fiscal, and we look forward to meeting you all very soon on this. As a matter of fact, as a test run of this forthcoming webcasting channel, we are today going live with this event on the website. I hope it will also receive the same kind of response and appreciation that we have been getting so far. I am quite sure that the kind of hard work that our core editorial team of Track to Reality has put in last year or so, our journey is on the right track. Many more milestones are to be reached. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Dwivedi. And as he rightly said, heartiest congratulations to Track to Reality. It's on the right track and many more milestones are to be achieved. To talk a little more about this, may I take the opportunity to invite Mr. Neeraj Bansal, Director, Risk Compliance, KPMG. Mr. Bansal, I would request you to please come up and say a few words.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Essentially, I think it's a very good initiative that Track to Reality has taken to compile significant information which is there from a real estate side of it into a comprehensive and I would say a concise manner as well, into a book form, which is a hard copy available, apart from the newspaper that they publish at the current time. So I think information is very critical for every person who's connected with this business at the current time. And if you look at it from the point that if we have information available in a more of, say, online platform, it reaches a lot more people than hard copy form does it in that sense. So the sector in any case is going through a bit of tough time as we see it, so I think with creating certain positive vibes about the information which is important, as well as taking certain learnings into account, how the year 2011 has been, and taking into account the fact that there are opportunities which are there in the sector. If one puts those things into perspective from both developers, contractors and consultants point of view, it will help everyone, and I wish Track to Reality all the success and to continue with some good initiatives, and in future also come up with some innovative ideas which would help the sector as well as the community and make it a much more larger thing to take place. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Bansal, for your wishes. And as we said, our knowledge partners have definitely added a lot of value to our handbook. Some of them are present here today, and since many of them are based out of Mumbai, I'm sure they're watching us live across the country right now. So a hi to all of you, and thank you so much to all our knowledge partners for adding value to the handbook. We have with us Mr. Sunil Dahiya, who is Senior Vice President of Industry Body Naredco and Managing Director of Vigneshwara Developers. He has been one of our knowledge partners with this handbook. So may I take the opportunity to request him to please come here on the podium and say a few words. Mr. Dahiya.
Good afternoon, friends. Shri Sanjay Dwivedi ji, Shri Sachin Sandeep ji, Mr. Neeraj Bansal, Mr. Ravi Sinha, and friends over here from the media and industry. Knowledge partner. I don't know how knowledgeable I am, but what I can say is my personal opinion here, not of the industry, not of Track to Realities. But what I felt is most of the publications which are dedicated to real estate have got a very strong flavor of having the developer photographed on the front page. And most of our developers, we feel very proud to be on the front page, photographed, with all talking about us good. Track to Reality, I found a little better, little away from that at least. So there was no first-hand somebody wanting to come and say, Sunil ji, आपकी picture लगाएंगे front page पे, you should get it clicked with your Mercedes. So there was an honest endeavor to actually track the reality. And what I feel is if you look at Delhi, Delhi has a population of 1 crore people, and with 100 years completed recently, DDA claims that they have developed 4 lakh units. Isn't DDA's job to give housing to all? So who is developing the balance 96%? And where are the 96% people living? That's the job I think Track to Reality is tracking about, or should be tracking. Not photographs of developers on the front page. Another thing which is very important is if DDA, with all the powers of acquisition, all the money which the government gives them, having a sovereign guarantee behind them, they can just develop 4% housing in 50 years? What do you expect out of developers? I'm asking a simple question. There has to be some problem. What is that problem? So obviously we have inherited some problem from them. What are those problems? Can we track them and put them on the front page instead of our photographs? 4% success ratio, 4 lakh houses of 1 crore is not even 4%. Shameful. So my point here is, we have inherited those problems and we have gone into that sector. Knowingly or unknowingly, we saw it as an opportunity. With 2008 global meltdown and a financial meltdown across the world, those problems compounded and they actually came out. Now those problems were there always and we saw it as an opportunity, and they got compounded because of the financial meltdown, the global asset base losing its sheen. So our problems got compounded. Now I see not that there are developers not wanting to give houses, or there are consumers not wanting to buy houses, but there is some gap. What's that gap? Everybody would like to do a trend analysis. Everybody does it. We have consultants who come to us and we do pre-feasibilities, feasibilities, post-surveys, market surveys. Only then we launch our projects. But this is gap. 4% and 94%, there's the gap. You don't need trend analysis in this. What do you want to say in 3 years the real estate will go to this sector, 3 years will go to that level, and 3 years will... There's a 94% gap in Delhi. And believe you me, these 94% people or 94 lakh people, you can't tell them that we'll build houses for you in 50 kilometers from here and you travel every day. Will you travel? I don't think you'll travel. You have to be in the city. So what's wrong? Why is DDA not wanting to do it or not able to do it? There has to be some problem. Is there a fund problem? Are consumers not buying it? Is there no land? What is the problem? So Track to Reality. Or maybe somebody like Track to Reality. There's so much of space for you journalists to actually bring a gap analysis in front of the government, in front of the public. There's so much of space. You don't need only the big fours or the big fives of your industry to have real estate supplements. Again, photographs on the front page. You need to highlight these gaps, which will help us, which will help you as consumer, which will at least guide the government to bring some policies in place. We call it policy advocacy, but the policies which are actually being made are made by officials in their environment. Obviously their intent and their intention is clear. They want to look at the consumer's protection. But if the policies are not able to deliver the final product to the customer, what is the use of the policy? So my point here is, we have seen that better products, better services have come to the consumer after reforms, after unlocking, after deregulation. It has happened in banking. It was not possible for us to think 10 years back that you will be able to debit your bank account on your mobile. But it happened. I was in one of the forums in Hyderabad when one of the persons from the public got up and said, "You're talking about smart cities. There's nothing smart in my city." So we were talking about smart cities 30 years hence. And it was a forum where we were talking about smart cities. Genuine comment. The gentleman got up and said, "What are you talking about smart cities after 30 years? There's nothing smart today." So the point here is, somebody from the audience itself got up and found it so active and said, "Listen, gentlemen, in India, before 96, we had 90 lakh phones. Today we have 90 million phones. And it happened in 5 years flat. It didn't happen in 50 years. So change can come, and change will not take too much long. So have faith, have patience. Only thing is, telecom was very fast to understand that it has to be unlocked, reformed, and that will deliver the better product and better services to the consumer. So goes banking, so goes insurance, so goes in automobiles. I remember those times when you used to travel with an automobile with 15 days rating applied for. Why? Because the government wanted to hold on to the numbering. And somebody realized and says, "Yeah, kya gaadi de di usko? So number bhi de do." So they gave the power of registration to the dealer. And where are we today? You walk out with the car, choose your own number. What is the restriction? Why are you holding on to it? So restrictions, licensing, all this will bring. We have been doing it for the last 50 years. That is where we saw 4% housing and 94% gap. I don't know where these 94% people live. I can't figure out. I was coming on the way and I said, where are these 94 lakh people living? If DD has only given 4% housing. It's a record, 4 lakh houses by DDA. So I don't know where these 94 lakh people come from and where do they go in the evening. We all are from there. One more thing is, as a journalistic endeavor, what is the intelligent quotient you want to put into your writing, which is very important. I'll be very frank. One day we were talking about some event and we were talking about cement rice. And one of your colleagues got up and said, "आप लोगों ने आम जनता के लिए इससे पहले क्या सोचा था?" Genuine question, I understand. But we were talking about cement rice. And we were saying cement rice is going to hit the aam janta. So they found that there is a hidden agenda that builders are talking about cement rice. So he wants to come up and say, what is that you have done for the last so many years for the consumer? My friend is smiling at me. But my point here is, it was very simple logic which I tried to explain. And I said, obviously, we are not buying cement for ourselves. We are going to buy the cement and we are going to put it on the house and that house is going to you. So the cost is going to be borne by you. So then, again the mood was somber, but they wanted to again come up with something more. But I appreciate discussions, dialogue will always bring policy change. Here I believe track to reality, and there is a lot of scope for other people or from you, from your fraternity, to come into this field and come up with an honest endeavor to bring about that change, become the change agent, become the game changer. There's so much to talk about real estate. Come to think of it, real estate is the largest provider. The best salary in the country is a cabinet secretary. When he retires, his corpus which he gets is 40 lakhs. With 40 lakhs, he can't buy a house. in Delhi. But had he bought a house in his service 20 years back, that house is worth 4 crores in Delhi. And he got 40 lakhs from the government for working 35 years for the government. So who is the primary employer? Government or real estate? Now with reverse mortgage, after retirement he can put that house to the bank and say, by the time I die, give me monthly income. So who's the bigger pensioner? Real estate, not the government. The best pension the top cabinet secretary will get is about 40,000 as of today. 4 crores at 12% will give him 4 lakh per month. So who is a better pensioner? So why are we not talking about it? Why have we only got photographs of developers on the front page? You don't need to put photographs on the front page. Put the pensioners on the front page, boss. With that, I think I've given you a lot of food for thought, guys. I can't say much. You guys write a lot. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dharia. It was actually food for thought. Very, very enlightening words. And friends, now is the time to release the Track to Reality Focus 2012. But before that, I would like to call upon Mr. Sachin Sandhir, who is the South Asia Managing Director of RICS, that is the Royal Institution of Chartered Survivors, and has been one of the knowledge partners with our handbook. And he has given us a perspective from the point of view of the customer expectation. So let's see what he has to talk to us. I would request Mr. Sandhir to please come up to say a few words.
Mr. Dwivedi, Sunil, Neeraj, Ravi, and friends from the media. I think firstly, congratulations to Track to Reality. I think they've done a fantastic job over the last 1 year, and they've established themselves as a fairly credible news service. I guess what distinguishes, and what I think distinguishes you from some of the other mainstream magazines, if you'd like to put it that way. And I guess Sunil has kind of glorified that, highlighted some of the differences already. But I guess I think one part of it is trends. We all know that there's a huge opportunity in real estate and construction. Really is really, after agriculture, the second largest. And I guess Sunil's added a different perspective, I never really thought of it this way, but real estate is basically a bigger contributor than the government in that sense, in being a pensioner. So I guess that's an interesting aspect of looking at it. But clearly, I mean, 50 odd million people employed in the sector between real estate and construction, 17% of GDP contribution coming from real estate. Real estate and construction makes it a fairly significant contributor. I just looked at also the total GDP contribution between real estate and construction, about $230 odd billion as on date, as per a research report that we've just released. So I think in terms of just the opportunity, and given the amount of urbanization that is happening, and we all know that about 30% of currently people live in the cities, but that's likely to move to about 40% over the next 20 years. So really, just that itself, and the magnitude of opportunity of about 300 million people living in cities, it's not just about Delhi, but it's just the magnitude of the opportunity across all of India, which is something that highlights obviously a major opportunity for people in business. But then there's another side of it, is there is this huge opportunity, but obviously delivery has not kept pace with the needs of the market, really. I mean, and the housing shortfall is about 27 million. I think if you look at just the total number of slum dwellers in the country is about 94 million as per the latest census. Now, if you look at that magnitude, and then you try to figure out, and exactly the point that Sunil mentioned, he talked about Delhi, but this is more a pan-India picture. obviously something hasn't kept pace on the ground. And what are those issues that have ensured that deliveries lagged? Obviously, there isn't a question of enthusiasm, and our entrepreneurs, the people who've gotten into the sector, are very dynamic, and there are aspects that need to be addressed from a perspective. I think you didn't dwell on this point, Sunil, but building approvals is a pain point for real estate developers. I know there have been initiatives going on for a while about trying to streamline the approvals process, environment clearances, airport clearances. We know the issues, but how do you kind of make sure that this time frame can be reduced from 2 to 3 years to maybe 3 weeks? Ideally speaking, it should not take too long, and I'm sure it doesn't take rocket science to figure out a system that works and ensures a quick approval. So that's one side of it. If you then look at it from the point of view of the investors who are investing money in the country, and I'm trying to address all sides of the bandwagon. So you've heard the developers' perspective. Developers' perspective, approvals are fairly critical. Look at it from the investors' perspective. There's about $20 billion of capital that has come into the country, over the last, since FDI was allowed in 2005, 2006. Now, if you really look at it in the context of where we are today, how much has actually found exit in the country? The India growth story is a great story. We're even in bad times right now. We're aiming to grow at about 7 to 7.5%. But despite that, the exits haven't really kept pace with the amount of investments that has come in. And if when you talk to a lot of international investors today, and if you're trying to raise capital, domestic capital, yes, there's enough domestic capital still chasing enough good projects here. But if you look at international capital coming in, and we talk to a fair bit of international investors, what do you find? I mean, what we're finding is that there are lots of people who are actually rethinking their India plans. And you're thinking, is it really worthwhile to look at a 16-17% IRR with all the risk associated? You thought you'd make an exit in 3 years. It hasn't happened in 5-6 years. So those are concerns and issues that need to be addressed from an FDI perspective, and what can we continue to do to ensure that we continue to attract more capital. Then there's the other side, is the consumer's perspective, which is we're all consumers. Enough, we've all talked about the fact that we can self-regulate. Maybe that, there are ways of trying to make sure that bodies like NAREDCO, CREDAI, RICS, all, can work collaboratively to ensure, that we self-regulate. But, I think there are two sides to it. One side of it is that, you've got to kind of make sure that right now, if you look at our landscape, most of the emphasis is more on there's a lot of regulation, a lot of headache for developers at the approval stage. Now, if you can and provide some kind of a redress mechanism, whosoever provides the redress mechanism is insignificant. From the point of view of the industry, it's always better that the government doesn't do it. So that could be one solution, wherein the bodies themselves are empowered to do it. But having said that, there's another side to it that I know a lot of people are apprehensive about registration of projects. Rather than trying to worry about whether registration of projects is good or bad, if we can create a mechanism wherein the Babu who's sitting there on the approvals, and if we can create a mechanism wherein there is as much of a, maybe as much of pressure on that Babu to ensure that clearance goes through in time, and there is some kind of punishment that is available, and basically addressing that part of it, maybe that is an important aspect that we need to look at as well. So what I'm trying to really say is that there is a developer's perspective, there is a investor's perspective, there is a consumer's perspective, right or wrong. Somebody's got to find out, somebody's got to ensure that these issues are highlighted. There is one part of it is strengths, another part of it is policy initiatives, trying to make sure that there is enough food for thought that is passed on to key stakeholders from a policy perspective, and which is a neutral view. And it's important that we stay objective about this. And then so that objective reporting is what I think I'd look at Track to Realty to provide. And hopefully this handbook is a good initiative to ensure these three stakeholders. There are some others maybe we are missing. We can include that also. But these stakeholders, their views, their issues, are communicated to the right people, to the right, to the people that matter, and to ensure that there are positive steps that are taken for the good of the industry. I think that really is the key bit that from my perspective I'd be looking at Track to Realty achieving. And I think this handbook, which is hopefully a compilation of good practice, which will be a kind of a tool for developers, investors, all stakeholders to learn something from about the industry, is a great step, and hopefully we can only get better in the years to come. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Sachin Sandhir, for putting across the consumer's perspective to all of us. And now I take the opportunity to invite upon here on the dais Mr. Ravi Sinha. He is the CEO and Managing Director of Track to Reality. May I invite you, sir? And now is the time to release the Track to Reality Focus 2012, which is India's first comprehensive real estate handbook. I would request Mr. Sinha, along with all our dignitaries, Mr. Dwivedi, Mr. Dahiya, Mr. Sandhir and Mr. Bansal. Well, heartiest congratulations to Track to Reality. And as we said, there are many more milestones our way. Mr. Sinha, would you- And to all the members of the media fraternity, in case you have any questions, now is the time. For the Q&A, the house is open for Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, anything to discuss, our dignitaries are on the dais. You can please go ahead and ask them.
I guess everybody's got a house.
Close it then. Alright then, thank you so much all of you for joining us today out here. Thank you so much for taking out your precious time. I would request all of you to kindly join us for high tea after this. And thank you so much our dignitaries, all four of you. Thank you so much for talking to us. You all were very, very enlightening. Me being a lay person understood a lot out of the real estate. So thank you so much all of you for taking out your precious time.
Real estate is anyway known for getting things delayed, whether projects or programs. Come sir, please.